you remember I told you there are 5 capitals you need to transfer in order to preserve wealth.
What are the 5?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I know you will let me go.
I want to know the 5 capitals.
I always like the way you interview. I watch you. And every time your guest is talking, I'm like, Toby is not going to allow that to go. You just did that now. Okay, you're an excellent interviewer. Moderator and all that. So thank you.
You can continue. I'll remember to ask you 5 capitals.
So 5 capital that you need to transfer. If you don't transfer those 5 capitals, okay, the world will enter entropy. So let me explain what entropy is. Entropy is a word from physics.
Yes.
Okay. Entropy is the disintegration of ice. So you know that for water to become ice, it needs to be in a particular condition.
Right.
And once the condition is, you relax the condition, that ice will melt. Think about your deep freezer, right?
Yes.
If you unplug your deep freezer, the ice will melt.
Yes.
Okay. So it has entered entropy. Now, there is an atmosphere. When wealth is created, the original creator of the wealth, in the school of wealth preservation, they are called the grantor. That's what you call them, as the grantor. The grantor has gone through some discipline, has gone through some experience, has some fortitude to be able to. Then the guy created the wealth. Right. It took many years and all that. He eventually went through the canteen and all that. The mistake people do is that I don't want my children to suffer. I don't want them to go through what I've gone through.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Yeah. Then you give the children, right? And then you just will it to them. In the school of wealth preservation, that is very disempowering. You have disempowered them. And the wealth will enter into entropy. Why? Because those 5 capital that you use to create the wealth, and I'll come to that. Yeah. You have not passed it to them.
Okay.
So they can't sustain the wealth.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
And there's a study in the US by the Gallup Group. The study says 85% of those who inherit wealth, 85% of them, they lose that wealth. 85% of them.
That's a very high.
Yeah, it is a high percentage. Okay. So why? The condition that created the wealth, that is the grantor, he's gone.
Yes.
His experience is gone. All his contacts are gone.
Yeah.
All of his mistakes are gone.
Yes.
There's nowhere it was documented, it wasn't passed. Okay.
Right.
And guess what? You now give the wealth to somebody and the guy has not exercised creativity, has not exercised. There's a sad story of a German billionaire who was running their family business. And at that point in time, the family was the 6th wealthiest family in the world. And then the guy invested in Volkswagen shares. Unfortunately, the shares of Volkswagen wasn't doing well. So the value of their net worth dropped from 6th position to 9th position. He tried to rescue things. He went to apply for loan in the bank and all that. He couldn't get it. He was so depressed. Unfortunately, he committed. 2 weeks after he committed, the shares came back. Okay. The moral of the story is that he couldn't endure.
Wow.
But it was inherited wealth.
Oh, he was not the grand.
The people who, if his grandfather who created the wealth was around, the man will be able to withstand that pressure.
Yeah.
So he just took his life. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, even the bank loan that he got got rejection for, the bank eventually approved the loan.
Wow.
Now, think about what we talked about earlier. Mindset, ability to, when something doesn't work, ability to keep going.
Yes.
Ability to endure, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't pass all of those, just pass the wealth will enter into entropy. So you understand what entropy is now.
Yes.
Let's go to those 5 things. What are the things you need to pass on? You need to pass on 5 things. And those things you don't pass them on. You need a family business office to help you do it. Because the first thing is you got to pass on the spiritual capital. Now, what do you mean by spiritual capital? It depends on who you are.
Yeah.
For a person of faith like me, spiritual capital simply means, what do we believe about wealth? We believe that wealth is a gift from God and we are custodians, we're stewards to use it for the greater good. And in the process of creating wealth, we have values. We don't create wealth by cheating other people. So those are your spiritual capital. Right. And now, if you're not a person of faith, then you are talking about your values. What are the things you value? Yeah. You value honesty, you value integrity, you value all of those things. Right. You have to pass that on. Why is that important? Well, if you don't pass it on, 3 demons will show up in that family. Okay. Every place where wealth is created, 3 demons show up. Oh. And they're the demons of greed, selfishness, and pride. Right. Okay. Yeah. So the spiritual capital, by passing on that value, it will allow them to be humble. My children went to Africa and I told them, I said, look, when you get there, don't just look, that's where your father came from. Yeah. So we saw an orange seller by the road and I told my children, I said, that used to be your dad. Wow. Yeah. And a little child was, playing with soil and all that, not properly dressed. I said, that used to be me. So you don't feel that you're superior to people. That's part of our own spiritual capital. Honesty, integrity, love in the family. Yeah. So that's your spiritual capital. Okay. You need to pass on those values. If you don't, I'll give you an example. as we speak, unfortunately, you can do the research. The Rogers family that I talked about earlier, there was a technical error that their father made in their family trust.
Okay.
And that family trust gave power over to the son over the mother and the daughter. They ended up in court.
Wow. Okay.
So they will fight over the wealth if the spiritual capital is not passed on. So that's spiritual capital. The second capital that needs to be passed is your intellectual capital. Now, when we talk about intellectual capital, we're not talking about degrees and academics. We're talking about the knowledge that you use to create the wealth.
Yes.
For example, in our own family, because we run a family, we have a library. So all the books that I read, all the books that I read, they're all in that library. It's a virtual library. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we have a training program. Everybody that comes from my own lineage.
Wow.
Because my goal was to eliminate poverty forever in my lineage. Okay. Remember where I said I was, I came from. And I know that one big reason why we did not create wealth was because we did not understand. We didn't have that knowledge.
Yes.
So everything that everybody needs to know, we have a schedule, topic by topic, and each member of the family, you will see them. I check. I personally, because we are running our own, family business office.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's what a family business office will do for you. I taught my children, the books are there, and they have made commitments in our own family constitution, which is part of the will, that they will teach my own grandchildren.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are we doing? We are preserving the intellectual capital.
Yes.
So there will not be any financial illiterate in the family.
Yes.
So you need to pass that on. Now, another effective tool you use to pass it on is called the family business playbook.
Okay.
The family business playbook is a documentation of how was the wealth created. So, for example, we have 4 companies in Canada. We have another one in the US. We have one in Africa. How these companies were created, where we got the money from, how did we start, what mistakes did we make? They're all documented in the family playbook.
Yeah.
Right? You can imagine.
Yes.
For the 10th generation.
Wow.
And all of those things are in the cloud. So anywhere in the world, anyone who is part of this dynasty can access it. Remember the law of secrecy I told you about?
Yes.
Anyone who is not part of the dynasty cannot access it.
Yeah.
You get it now?
Yes.
Okay. So we've talked about spiritual capital. Talked about intellectual capital.
Yes.
The third one is the social capital. What do we mean by social capital? So in our consulting practice, for example, every client that comes through our one-on-one executive consulting, they come with a problem.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the lead consultant. It's a policy. We have to record it. And long after I'm gone, my great-grandchildren to the 10th generation, they will see Wesley, the original Wesley. This is, and where did I see all of these? That's what you remember. That's what I told you. John Davison Rockefeller.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
Wow.
That's exactly what he did. 6th generation. And the original, what the man knew original, of course, they will build on the knowledge, but the original one is preserved.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is it. So we have our own family playbook. So people come to us and say, look, you know what? We do have a modest wealth. Our net worth is maybe 10 million and things like that. But all these things you're talking about, we don't have it.
Yeah.
And you have said that poorly prepared beneficiaries perform poorly.
Yeah.
Okay. So fine. Well, you did not pass on those 5 steps. So we talked about spiritual capital.
Yeah.
The spiritual capital are the things you don't have to be a person of faith, like, in my own case, but just the things
values,
you believe in the family.
Yes.
You believe in loving each other.
Yeah.
So my children are never going to fight one another. Never. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Okay. Because they have been trained. Part of the intellectual capital is called the dynamic beneficiaries credo of wealth preservation. Spiritual capital is the things we believe.
Yes.
And one of the things that you need to, include in your spiritual capital is what is called the dynamic beneficiaries credo.
Okay. What's that?
So what do we mean by dynamic beneficiaries? Beneficiaries, we know what that means.
Yes.
Somebody who benefits from the wealth that was created by the parents and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a dynamic one. Why is it a dynamic one? That is a dynamic one because this guy is not a victim of trust distribution. Trust distribution, when you put trust or will in place and say, hey, when I die, give a house to this, give a house to this. This guy doesn't know how a house is bought.
Yeah.
He probably won't bother because, of course, you've already given him a house.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You're better off if that is put in a trust, family trust. And while you are alive, you have all of what we've discussed.
Yeah.
You document, this is how we buy a house, and allow them to say, okay, fine, we're going to refinance one of the houses and we're going to watch you people buy another one.
Right.
And you watch them do it.
Yes.
Guess what is going to happen when you die? They will keep buying houses.
Right.
You can get it now.
Yes.
So that is what we mean by a dynamic wealth beneficiary.
Okay.
It's not the guy who waits and say, I'm just waiting and then just give me. Because people who do that never do well.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
In Canada, for example, welfare is not designed for a permanent, it's just to tide you for a little while.
Right.
When you fall through the crack and then pick it up. But some people, they enjoy to stay there.
Permanently.
They stay there.
Yeah.
And they never do well.
Yes.
Why? Because they are disempowered.
Yes.
They don't want to struggle, no drive. Well, money will just be coming from the government.
Right.
I'll just be enjoying the money and all that. And well, nobody designs that for you to make you wealthy.
Yes.
Okay. So dynamic beneficiary, okay, the credo is the commitments they make. And I will tell you what the credo is because that's the credo for our own family. Our family, each person who becomes a beneficiary of what the grantor, my wife and I, the first generation, they make a commitment. And this is a commitment. They say, I will leave this better than it was handed to me.
Wow. Okay.
So they say that if my parents could think about me and think about my own unborn children, and they were not selfish in their lifetime, they thought about me and they equipped me to be able, not just hand it over, they equipped me to be able to do it. Okay. And one of the things we don't do in wealth preservation, we don't refer to the children as next generation. They are not next. They're called the rising generation. Why is it rising generation? Every genuine parent, it's your prayer that your children will rise above you. True or false? Yes. So we never refer, my children are not next. Next presupposes that they are waiting on the line so that after you take your turn, then it will be next. No, they're never next generation. They're rising generation. Right. So the rising generation will make commitments to say, I will leave this world better than I met it.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So we've talked about the spiritual capital. We've talked about the
intellectual capital.
Intellectual capital.
Yes.
The third one is the social capital.
Yeah.
The social capital has to do with all of the important relationships. All the important relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
That are very strategic to the creation of the wealth.
Yes.
So take our own business, for example. Every business meeting that I have that is very important with the lawyer, with the accountant, if it is on Zoom, we record it. So my children, after they are 9 to 5 or whatever, they come home, they watch it. Okay, fine. The next day, my son can continue that conversation with that person. You understand it?
Yes.
Now? Okay. So they record it.
Yeah.
We record it. And we have a very rich library. So if you want to talk about legal issues now, and they will see the original Wesley dealing with the legal issues that bought the property, that set up the companies, and so on and so forth. We also outsource a lot of things. And when we bring experts into our own company, okay, for our own wealth family business office, we don't have all the expertise. We also outsource. We make it's compulsory that we ask them that we need to record it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and we record it. So that is social capital. So they know who the lawyers are.
Yes.
They know who the accountants are.
Yeah.
They know who the property management companies are.
Right.
They know that. Not just knowing them, we do have on our own group, we have different groups on WhatsApp.
Okay.
We have a group called the Owners Group.
Okay.
Everything we talk about that is about the business.
Okay.
It's different from the regular one when you talk about mommy's birthday, daddy's birthday, we're traveling, So it's strictly that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we talk about whatever major thing has happened in the business, you know, because they are not involved in the day-to-day as much as I and their mom, we just update them and all that. And you need to listen to this. We hold what is called the annual family business retreat.
Wow. Okay. This is a serious one.
So, you know, I told you that the person who preserves wealth knows some things others don't know and has done certain things others have not done.
Right.
And is connected to the group. That's it. So our family business retreat, essentially, last week was our annual family business retreat. For 2025. What does that look like?
I was just about to ask.
We check into typically Airbnb for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
And we have agenda, we have group activities, all of the companies I give. So since I'm still the group CEO, so the owners, think about a regular company where you have the board of, you know, a board meeting, shareholders meeting. Okay, this time around, shareholders are my wife and my children.
Yes.
So we go through every single entity. We review their financials. Remember I told you about the law of measurement?
Yes.
So we measure with the net worth of our family.
Yeah.
And we show them all the companies, all the properties, all the business deals. We show them year over year and explain why it's decreased or why it's increased. And then we go through each of the company, and each year we read 1 or 2 books together as a case study.
Yeah.
So some of the things I've shared with you here now, we've treated them.
I could tell.
Which should have been the first one is the human capital. The human capital means each member of the family, okay? Each member of the family is given the training to know that you are very important. Your life is more important than everything in the family. All the wealth family possesses. If we need to give up the entire wealth to save your life alone, we will and start over.
I like that, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Think about what happens as a Canadian, for example. I went to Africa to consult for a family, very wealthy family. And while we were going through that, I was trying to describe this concept of, you know, the human capital, that it is, you give them a sense of belonging, that they are so loved and they are very much cherished in the family. The wealth of the family is to help them to be the best they can ever be.
Yes.
Okay? So I was trying to illustrate that, and I said, I carry 2 passports. I carry a Canadian passport and I carry a Nigerian passport. Okay. And I said, do you know that with my Canadian passport, if there was to be a crisis in the city and the Canadian government knows that there's a Canadian there, they can fly private jets.
Right.
Is that not so?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
the
true.
will.
Yes.
That's what we mean,
Yes.
like the human capital. So everybody in that family feels a strong sense of worth, belonging. So that's the human capital. We take them, and there are certain things we need to take them through another. We first review it with the parents and say, hey, this is what, do you believe this? Because we don't just want to say, for me, my children are worth everything. Do you understand it?
Yes.
They're the reason why I came to Canada.
Right.
The reason why we started all over again.
Yeah.
My great-grandchildren, they are very important to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that is the case, then we take them through. That's the human capital. Then, of course, the last one is the financial capital.
Yeah.
All right. But if you just pass on the financial capital without all of those things, the wealth will enter into entropy. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Oh, that helps.